Main lagi katanya pensiun.
Main lagi dia sejak Fontaine.
Ini ngelag nggak kelar-kelar.
Tuh udah.
Berapa kali? Koneksi kan nggak bagus ya. Terus loncat-loncat angkanya nggak nambah. Loncat jamur itu.
Iya, aku juga pernah gitu.
Ini band rank selanjutnya pertama kali katalis yang S. Yang habis Zhongli kan habis ini Zhongli 4.1.
Fate is called as such, for it cannot be changed. Nor
Iya,
can
aku
it be
pengen.
reversed.
Tapi kan pengen C6-in Zhongli juga ya.
Fate-nya ada berapa?
0.
Gacha siapa?
Gacha yang sekarang.
Ini. Ini.
Orang PT aku cuman berapa?
Committed to memory.
Itu di kamar apa? Ada ya?
Hey! Yeah, this might hurt a little.
Ladep. Namanya pedel. Tadi aku dapet ini kan gacha udah PT 80. Terus gacha dapet SSR
Wih.
Skyward Harp
Wah.
pertama kali. Giliran udah nggak butuh ya. Dulu tuh pengen gitu kan, apa, substatnya kan bagus dulu kan.
Iya.
Tetap aku naikin sih, nggak tahu tapi buat siapa.
Ya, masih guna lah.
Something on your mind again? Let's work through it together. Two heads are better than one.
Lama banget ngomongnya. Gak bisa di skip lagi. Yang kedua Action quest-nya siapa? Pembunuhan lagi.
Apa?
Action quest part 2-nya.
Iya, yang apa sih? Yang cewek-cewek hilang. Yang cewek-cewek hilang.
Nah, udah deh, makasih.
Thank you, bye. Kik aja. Si Ken katanya udah pulang kok.
Sakit apa sih, Mak?
Kalau
jiwa, ya, tapi kan ada detailnya gitu
nggak tahu sih seberapa parah, cuman yang kalau aku lihat di storynya si Do mah kayaknya masalahnya dari keluarganya gitu.
Ya ampun, teman-teman kamu, keluarganya.
Iya ya. Apa?
Geng broken home.
Nggak broken home. Cuman broken aja. Gitu.
Pagi, berasa sulit sekali. Sampai pagi.
Senin kalau jadi kayaknya mau ke kolega.
Oke. Tumben.
Emang
Nyonya udah balik.
si Tio baliknya Senin. Terus kemarin kan berapa minggu yang lalu gitu, 2 minggu apa 3 minggu gitu, mereka kan sempat ngumpul, tapi aku nggak ikut. Ngapain ya, nggak ingat aku. Ada Chelsea gitu. Ada mbak waktu ada mbak, mereka tuh pada ngumpul, aku skip kataku. Terus nanti Senin aku mau ke sana soalnya si Bian akhirnya sidang. Aku mau ngasih sesuatu.
Ya betul.
Nggak tahu, bingung mau ngasih kue, tapi ke kolega tuh nggak boleh bawa makanan dari luar.
Bilang aja Mbak, mau izin bawa kue. Ya tapi kamu datangnya duluan. Nggak bisa ya?
Nggak bisa.
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Mager.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own.
Poisson.
Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia.
Kirain mau bersihin tadi muknya. Itu
Lagi baca, pada ngobrol.
Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
Ivory Market udah ada linknya. Teor. Aku bikin selai lagi. Di blender aja kali ya, biar bisa dicampur ke susu.
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please...
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to... I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House.
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the opera.
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
IG.
Wih,
Aduh. Nih.
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that...
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've talked to all 3 suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with a gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Oh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, he could Still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business? Florent? But Espina di Rosula...
So you're saying he's too...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would... Thierry, you say? It is possible, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was...
Yeah. If the mecha were taking...
Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects?
Malus has always been very reliable. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging... We need far more solid...
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking...
Huh? Aren't you...
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, He's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial
Wait, how? None of our investigation.
That's what I thought was strange about. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigation.
Right. Because...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot...
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be...
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might... It's our hope that you're...
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Aaron. Yes, Paimon, Traveler, I'll see
you then! Now that Navia has set out for Aranias, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malou... Let's go and try to find the entrance.
Mahal?
I know it was not something so like the channel of berapa buat mereka tuh channel itu murah.
Iya.
Darah itu murah. Soalnya ada Equine Studios namanya. Dia buat slot di UK.
Finally, you found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary. You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorent, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fight.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial...
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you...
Oh, please. Did you... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true and if my charges prove true...
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to...
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia.
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières. Huh? What Confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal risk, and if the charge fails...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia, members of the guards, please contact... Mr. Marcel, you...
Apologies, sir. It all just... I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is...
Very well. In that case, since...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you... Come on. Why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make every...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance Jacques lay dead from a gunshot. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, He chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the... These are the known facts.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea. The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility, and had sent out another assassin. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Jangan dipegangin mulu jerawatnya.
Orang bukan.
Pegangin apa dong?
Nih.
Tidak.
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up? I'm afraid...
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved,
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that what was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances.
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my—
So, you mean to say, your father—
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to— I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the Shadow. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth.
So, during the duel, did—
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles, and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live, or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis—
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial—
Right? What she said was fascinating, but—
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are— In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result— And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental—
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remove—
I don't know what you can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some— Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna—
It's timing. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade.
Poisson.
My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in...
I do apologize.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the... Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable...
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of it? He wished for you to become more rational, collected. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things.
This isn't just about me. And the biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of... Many people's images are flashing before me. And whose image? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Kencing.
Cewek bener.
Siapa cewek? Cewek, oke.
Wah, kan seakan-akan dari awal tuh cowok gitu. Lagi rambutnya panjang, terus bulu matanya tebel gitu, biasanya gambar cewek. Terus ini ada teteknya, ini teks.
Oke.
Asalnya 12 tahun, gitu tuh. Udah ya. Aduh. Oh, lagi nggak bisa tahu. Oke.
Sabar ya. Oh no. Set. Set.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
I see everything.
Decided by destiny.
Gather.
Right.
Whoa! The floor is going up!
Huh?
Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Wow.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Berenang di fonten jadi pengen berenang ya.
Kenapa?
Berenang di fonten jadi pengen berenang.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Shadows of fate. Let's light it up.
Order guide you. Quake! I will have order.
I'm going in. Yeah.
Wah.
Ya Allah, limit pantesan lama.
Kenapa?
Downloadnya dari tadi aku limit.
Elah.
Tadi main jadi aku limit.
On you. Everyone hold hands.
This is order.
Written in the stars.
I will have order.
I see everything. After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help Nadia. What's all this? Aw, it's a bunch of really cute things! Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box! Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these... Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? And then they were turned into water, and all the boxes of things, these names... Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be a... Yep, this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined if the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the sins. If you dilute it with normal water, Paimon will take notes on... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the water. Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep! what's this over here? Looks like some kind of... Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingle. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimen... Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. How could someone write something that terrible in such a... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did it. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from... In any case, Paimon... We've looked at almost everything here and it's... Yeah! We haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Nervalet wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is that way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing. Paimon...
Ada nih orangnya. Mana sih? Ngapain?
You take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check everything... Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary! Aw, it's just a normal diary chronicling their love. So many! A whole page's worth! But the final name she decided on was Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son? Hey!
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named... Oh.
I've merely
I was waiting...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my part...
Just how often do you...
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalet. Given their confidence, I...
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know everything. After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know... You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
You're determined.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself.
Do you think... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you. And, well, now you know, don't you? Ha! But you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, I will, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't, Vinier. Please, Vinier. Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover, Vinier. During an underwater expedition, Vinier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vache as a result. Vache learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel. And during the course of his research, Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, after exchanging blows, although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, and just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using it. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. Thus concludes the enigmatic... The Oratrice will now deliver the... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vache is guilty.
Guilty. Oh. Hei, terjatuh.
Guards, take Vache away.
Good. It's...
With that...
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and...
Yippee! We have none! He's hurt so many innocent... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were...
A day our late boss had all...
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrong. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must...
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Is it...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This is always...
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established the guilty party has been identified. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse... Guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not... What's with this verdict?
Huh? This has never happened before.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent fatuity?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it should...
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is... Guards, please take the...
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
I don't know what happened.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took end. Of course, for every performance, there is a script. Everything. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been everything he's done. Not to mention the danger he poses, all shall be revealed in time. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense...
So she chose to make her escape after all.
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she had. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him! Traveler! Hey, Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her...
What? Give an inch and you...
Paimon agrees. What?
This request, is it worth as...
Of course! Wait, no.
Humans. Would they betray... Very well.
Your Honor,
I will go with him.
Thank you. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vache.
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you are...
Vinier, it's me!
Vache?
I'm here!
Hey, wait!
Vinier, is that you?
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look...
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years all this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought? Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you. If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the tears on her cheeks. It's all because of your selfishness, Vache.
It's all because of you.
You... Wait, you are not Vignier. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vignier. I am the sacrifices. Every woman who died by your hand. As our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial sea. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. And we were no longer individuals. But we became one. Just as streams of water come together. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vignier.
Why? But then, where is Vignier?
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar. The only thing you are not is Vignier's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had
No! Vignier! She can't hate me. Let me see her, please.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop of... She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you. Vache. Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
We have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been...
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I...
Even this weather can't put a...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia!
Oh, now that I believe.
Sounds like you're really enjoying...
It's just been one thing after the other. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held it this time, though. Everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now. That's what we like to hear.
It's been the dearest
Ikutin
wish
aja
of
ntar
Demoiselle
artwork
all
questnya.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my faith in him. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorials. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take enough. I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial.
Oh yeah, she told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence... Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarande out for a meal.
Oh, are you two...
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clarande... It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also also thought Current was...
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh, actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave, and tell him the truth of what happened. And on top of that, just... that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want a good...
Sure thing.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off.
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now. This is where my...
Huh? Isn't that Neuvillette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navi?
My apologies. I should have asked.
Don't say...
Sorry about...
Oh, I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will...
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette. In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, or consider certain things to be more important than their own lives. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than one's own continued survival. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than life. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh?
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia... Let's not disturb them for now. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Huh? Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad. Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not...
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss...
We ran into...
I see.
Well?
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine. And it would be...
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of... Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vache discovered must have been some kind of special case.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the people of this land. Is there anything else you'd like?
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea.
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was?
But today, the primordial... What Vache discovered must have been some kind of...
Huh. So...
Indeed. Why would the... To be frank, that... Is there anything... That the sea levels will rise and everyone... Does that appropriate?
That's right! It was...
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels, and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant, and stay on the watch for further signs. Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina by her predecessor.
But with Farina being the way she...
Is there anything else? My apologies. My investigation. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice. For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely... Which is all to say, I have been prepared...
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where the Oratrice's chorus...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. Based on Farina's reaction, while we do intend to get to the bottom of this, if we did incorrectly...
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred...
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? Your sibling. Another blonde-haired traveler. If she ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure she followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that...
Truthfully, that name... There used to be a special sea, most of Tevat's...
Huh.
But today, what Vache discovered must have been some...
Huh.
Indeed. Why would the... To be frank, is there... Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much... It will soon be time for me to leave this...
You really are...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off. And so...
Alright, Tom. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.